Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. It is 12:09 p.m. Oh my god, it's a new month. What month is it? It's May! It's May 5th! Oh god! I move in like 20 days. Yikes. Anyway, I hope we're having a fantastic day today. We're getting into just a discussion topic for today. I am going to be playing World of Warcraft in the background and collecting some stuff. But, and actually I am going to move my camera over here. But, oh, and I should flip it because it'll look weird if I don't. I should have did this before. Rotate 90 degrees that way. Nope. Nah, don't want to do that. 180? Nope. Let's see. Flip horizontal. There we go. We're good. So, I wanted to discuss, and talk about some World of Warcraft roleplay today, because I have kind of been, I think the right word is indoctrinated. I have fell in love with World of Warcraft roleplay. As you can tell, I'm in full transmog, which we don't actually have transmog in World of Warcraft. I actually have all these items on. Full transmog. I look amazing. Look at me. Look at me. Fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, I've kind of been a little bit of indoctrinated, with World of Warcraft roleplay because I've been having just such a good time, dude. Such a good time. So I've been roleplaying with the Scarlet Crusade Guild here on Crusader Strike for a while now, and I haven't been, like, recording it or doing anything. I've kind of just been enjoying it, you know, because it's kind of hard to get when you're seeing it on stream. Like, it's hard for me to, like, understand it because, like, I'm trying to read everything in my head with everybody's voices and all that. But I'm going to show you a little bit of what's been going on. Because, while I don't have it recorded... Oh, the stream looks a little laggy. Is that okay? Is that just me? It shouldn't be, because I'm seeing 160 FPS down here. But it looks laggy. I don't like that. Anyway, I'll have a look at it in a second. So, something I do want to mention is how much fun I've been having with just role-playing, man. It's been great. It's been great. So if I show you my total RP, which is their stuff, let's just start off with the at-a-glance stuff. Okay? So, blessed. Zoth appears like he's been blessed by a powerful paladin. Directly in his pupils, so like right in there, is a faint golden glow. And that's not from the blessing, or maybe I should illustrate that a little bit better. But there was a huge RP scene that happened a few nights ago with the GM of Scarlet Crusade, which I will call the High Lord because that's his title. And a bunch of other people who were involved. And if we look here, we have Tattered Nobleman, which he might have been a noble once, but due to his clothing you can barely tell. That's due to roleplay that happened, and I'll go into that in a sec. Jeweled, which is the rings I have. I don't need to go into that. Stonebridge family crest. Adorned on his belt loop is a family crest belonging to the noble family Stonebridge. The crest has a crack down the middle of it, meaning and illustrating that the family is no longer, because we did roleplay that as well. And it's Centurion. Zoth bears the rank of Centurion within the Scarlet Crusade, which I might add looks a lot better up there. Over there, if you look at the top, you can see all my stuffs. But, criminal, shut the fuck up, dude. You fucking bastard. No, I'm not singing. Fuck you. How many times have you been asking that, brother? Come on. So, speaking about this. I have been having an experience within World of Warcraft roleplay. Originally, I didn't like it. I didn't like that it was no voice. I didn't like that it was different from 5M roleplay. I didn't like it at all. Because it was different, right? But now that I've had the experience of, you know, playing it for, you know, a few weeks now. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Now, something I do need to look at is if my... Oh, we're display capture. That's why. Okay. Good to know. Glad I had that up. That's fun. Anyway, I think that was the problem. Yeah, I can see it. We're good. So, yeah, before I didn't like it. I really didn't. I didn't like the idea of having roleplay happen through text and text only, and it's a little weird, but you fucking bitch. Farming at a fucking... gross. I'm taking the next one, you bitch. Alright. Yeah, it was a little weird, but now that I've had the experience, I wanted to sit down for an hour and kind of speak about, one, my experience, two, go over some of the backstory that had happened, and kind of just go over how I'm feeling about it now, and just talk about it, comparing it to my old roleplay, which was 5N. So, we have been doing a lot of roleplay, and I'll show you that, and I'll illustrate that by just showing you my backstory. So if we look here, we can see that here's my backstory, and let me put it at the center screen. Here's my backstory, so we can see that this fucking program is super, super nuts and awesome. And if we scroll down, we can see the history, and then we can see kind of like a journal entry thing, where we have the year, the month, and when I started this was the 18th of April, which is when this started, right? And it's now the 5th of May. South left Ravenholm Manor with renewed purpose, which was the last RP scene. So every one of these have happened in-game. So all these like little chapter things, these are all things that have happened and not me just saying backstory. The backstory is here. This is the backstory. This is the stuff that didn't actually happen in-game. Everything onwards happened, right? So, Zoth and a few others pushed the Devised Brotherhood out of Elwyn, all the way to Moonbrook. A messenger will be ambushed, a hideout will be discovered by the majority of the Alliance, right? So that is the quest leading through Elwyn Forest into Westfall and going through that, right? Invading the Dead Mines, you know, going into the dungeon Dead Mines and then killing Van Cleef. That was done as well. And if we look through, like we can see, like, the Private Hendel storyline and going into Scarlet Monastery for my runes and stuff like that. These are all things that happen in game. That's the way I like to roleplay, right? Is by your actions in game. And I have been having a really fun time. I have been treated very kindly by the people who are in the Scarlet Monastery, or sorry, Scarlet Crusade Guild. They have been very, very kind by, you know, making me look cooler than I am, right? Let me give you an example. So, I went into SM, or Scarlet Monastery, alone as a rogue, level 47, and I wanted to go and get the Scarlet Tarbard, right? This Tarbard, specifically. This is a drop. It's a 1.7% drop rate, really low. You have to kill the last boss in Armory to get it, and you have to kill a bunch of, like... You have to kill a boss, first of all, and I wanted to do this solo because it makes sense. It's the rogue backstory. But you had to kill the boss, and then you had to kill a bunch of like little guys, right? And to get it to drop, and I got it. Of course, I got it on my fucking second run through. Of course, right? But I wanted to have a little bit more meaningful event happen, right? So like I went in and got this, but what does that mean for my character, right? So what I did was I went and took off my guild tabard, because their guild tabard looks like kind of like the Scarlet Crusade tabard. That's kind of the idea. So then that's like the tabard everybody gets before they go and collect their Scarlet Tabard. But I went in, got mine, and I wanted to be a little bit more meaningful. So I took off my tabard, and I'll illustrate this in my backstory as well. You can read it while I'm talking. If we go, let me see where we can start. Yep, silence. Oh, it's rebirth. It's these, it's this paragraph here. These two that I'm gonna read. But I'm not gonna read. You're gonna read. I'm gonna talk about my experience and how it translated to the thing. Okay? So, I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. So, what happened was I went into Scarlet Monastery, I got my tabard, and I wanted it to be more meaningful. So I went to Light's Hope, the Light's Cathedral in Stormwind, and then I sat there without my tabard on, right? And then I said, hey, Maros, I have like a small scene, it'd be cool if you could attend, and, you know, I don't want to do this thing until you have attended, right? So he comes with, 4 people total. So himself, Protector Chiron, which is another character within the guild, High Commander K. Luthor, right there, and me, I guess I'm the 4th. And what happened was a small little scene where we knelt in front of the altar and prayed and whatever, and Marrow showed a little bit of his backstory about anytime he prays, the air turns cold because he has a connection to the royal bloodline within the Lich King and stuff like that. My goal for that scene was to just, hey, can you bless this thing? I think it's corrupted because I did take it off of one of the people inside of Scarlet Monastery. Can you bless it and bless the corruption out of it? What followed was something a little bit bigger than what I was expecting. And what had happened was, it's like, we need to go see our family home. That's what the High Lord said, right? High Lord Maros. He said, we need to go see our family home, then we can deal with this issue, right? And what it was like a, I guess, coronation, but not like, oh, I'm the king, but like, oh, I'm getting promoted within the guild, right? So, we went to Ravenloft Manor, I think that's what it's called. Ravenholt. Holt, with a T. And then there is a Season of Discovery Specials crystal behind the Ravenhoft Manor. And we went and, like, drank of the waters, and they told me that there would be a vision. And it was really cool! It was really cool! And then it was blessed, the tabard was blessed, and then I donned it as a newly made centurion within the Scarlet Crusade. And it was a really cool scene, and it wasn't anything I was expecting, but we could do it regardless because of the tools we have in World of Warcraft, right? So, let me tell you about the journey then. So, oh, hello. We have a little invasion happening. Hold on. Alright, sorry. And I do gank Horde in my RP armor, even though it's level 19 shit. But yeah, it's cool that, like, all the stuff you can do in World of Warcraft, because what we did was we all flew to South Shore. We walked first from the cathedral to the flight path, right? But we were literally walking on our mounts, like this. Right? Which takes a long time, but really opens up the world and makes it even breathe even more than what it does, right? And we just walked, and it was 4 of us, and it was really cool, dude. It was really cool. And we were all just walking like this, and we had 4 of us. It was awesome. One of the things that Meryl said, and this is a side note, he said he doesn't really have that many rogues who roleplay in his guild, because the thing is, it's like, if you're someone of the light, usually you're a paladin, right? But I didn't join because of the, oh, it's the Scarlet Crusade, I want to be a member of the light or whatever. I joined because it's like, oh, roleplay, I want to be involved in this. This seemed cool. To keep that in mind, right? But yeah, it was really fun, and it really dawned on me. The difference of roleplay doesn't mean it's a negative thing, right? So, just to remind you, if you're not really ingrained in the roleplay scene within 5M, the way the roleplay is in 5M is that everything you say is what you say in your own voice, right? Unless you can make other voices. And no one really knows your character backstory, right? No one really knows, like, all the stuff you went through and stuff like that, unless, like, you are telling them actively, right? And it's also a different genre, right? It's, like, based in real life, like 2022, and, like, cops and robbers and stuff like that. But in World of Warcraft, it's a little bit different, where, one, you don't speak. There is no voice. Uh, Even though there could be, right? People could use their voice, and I think that would be fun, right? Um, Even for the antisocial folks like myself. But one of the things that's a huge difference is that you can click on somebody who has the add-on, and anybody who's role-playing on Season Discovery has this add-on, where you have a few things. One, you can read their entire backstory, which is both a positive and a negative, because there could be metagaming that can happen. But you have this really cool thing, which is At a Glance. At a Glance is such a cool feature. I wish every roleplay I've ever done had it. What is At a Glance? Well, At a Glance is very fucking simple, guys. If you look at someone, what do you see? You see their clothing, their face, maybe a hidden weapon if they want to reveal that in the thing. Stuff like that. Small, but impactful, right? So, for me, I'm going to read them again, right? So, he is blessed, which means there's like a little bit of like light radiating from him. That can be inferred. And he has a faint golden glow in his eyes. And his irises, specifically, like very faint. And in Tattered Nobleman, this just is an illustration of my backstory because his family was killed by the Defias Brotherhood. He is now a deconsecrated nobleman. That he is tattered, and he would have dressed like a nobleman. He kind of does, kind of doesn't. That is my illustration to fit some of my backstory in, right? Then we have Jeweled, right? Going a little bit into detail, right? Even though it's at a glance, I can go into detail. So you see specific rings, right? So you see a ring that has a Stormwind crest on it, which is his index finger, right? So right here he has a Stormwind ring, and that is from a quest. Steal Stormwind, or steal Rin, sorry. And then that was illustrated on that. Then he has another one, which is the Defias Renegade ring, which is on his middle finger on his right hand. And that is to show that he was ex-Defias, right? And then on his left hand, his middle finger, he has the Proudmoore sigil on his middle finger on his left hand. I think it's his left hand. I might have gotten a thing. I might have gotten mixed up, but it's fine. The point is that you can use this At a Glance feature to show a little bit of your character and show other people, without having to read your entire fucking backstory, some of the things that might interest them, right? And if you're a good role player, I'm not, but if you are a good role player, you will utilize these to connect with other people, right? So one of the things that Meros did, which is the GM of the Scarlet Crusade Guild, was he grabbed my hand and he said, like, let me look at this ring, because, he has connection to Lordaeron and all that, that seeing a Stormwind sigil or signet ring would be a little bit of alarming to him, and that's something he might want to look at, right? And I also illustrated at that point that there was a little bit of shadow coming off the ring, because in the story of Westfall, Ilwyn, Redridge, and Duskwood, it all leads back to Onyxia giving you this ring. And I think that what Onyxia would do, because she is a calculated fucking dragon who is running this whole kingdom into the ground because that's what she's doing, that she would put like some kind of spy or scrying thing on your ring, right? It's like, hey, this is a powerful person who just dismantled 2 nobles that I had under my gaze working against Stormwind. I want to see what the fuck this guy's up to, right? And then Meros roleplayed that as, divine sense or whatever, to where he can tell that something's wrong with the ring. And then I'm pretty sure he ended up blessing it or something. That was a while ago. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I streamed that. And it was awesome. Like, it was awesome. It's small things like that that really, really change it up, you know? Really change it up. I want to add skill ups here. So with my experience with World of Warcraft Roleplay, it has been very, very interesting, right? Because you can clearly see the differences, right? The differences in WoW Roleplay and 5M Roleplay are very, very clear. First of all, like, the setting obviously is the biggest difference with, you know, setting of 5M being 2020 and the setting of World of Warcraft being, you know, a fantasy world, and, you know, it's in its own timeline and whatever. And, like, that's the clear differences, but there's a lot of subtle differences with, like, no voice and no, what would you call it? No, like, reading your backstory, right? Like, the comparison there. Because one of the things that 5M does well, from a metagaming point of view, to where it doesn't allow it, is that all of your backstories are hidden. Now, that's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for preventing metagaming, not a good thing for, you know, making a connection with a like-minded character, right? And the at-a-glance thing as well, something that World of Warcraft does a little bit better. But it's very interesting to look at the differences and see, like, how which one affects what. And, like, I feel like World of Warcraft Roleplay is more akin to Dungeons & Dragons than 5M is. As much as I wouldn't like it to be, right? I'd love Dungeons & Dragons to be, like, full lock and step with 5M, because I love that type of roleplay, like, ingrained with my other types of roleplay. And I'm not talking about, you know, it's like, oh, let's put dragons with 5M. I'm just talking about the role-playing tools, which having an inventory and having certain things that can tell people about your character without having to be asked. Those sorts of things, right? Let me take a drink here. Coffee. But yeah, it's like, it's different in a good way, right? And does that mean that the way 5M does it is bad? No. But there is, like, out of everything here that I would love to see in 5M, when you come near someone, or however way you want to do it, I don't know if, like, being nearby would actually fucking work, having this at-a-glance stuff would be super, super dope. Because this, while small, having a little thing where you can tell people about your characters, like, hey, if I'm Jeremy Crane, if you know who that character is, like, have a scar right down his face, right? And obviously you can put that in 5M, but, like, say it's like, oh yeah, like, he has a scar here, he has a scar here, like, he has a scar on the back of his neck, and stuff like that. And really getting into what the character is something I really sorely miss in 5M. Now, speaking on 5M, I think 5M, the way 5M does stuff is fine, right? Like, generally, for what it wants to do, I think it's fine. I just think that there is improvements that could be made, right? For sure, right? But World of Warcraft is different, and I think there is a few improvements that World of Warcraft could do as well. Now, I don't think everybody is open to the things that I'm about to say, but I would love to see groups of people who roleplay over voice, right? Because that's what I'm used to, right? And I think from a viewing experience as well, it's better, and it allows you to make even more of a connection with the people you're talking to, right? Now, not every role player is comfortable with that. Of course they're not, right? Role players who are into the text role play thing, I don't know how open they would be to, you know, it's like, oh yeah, let me use my voice in this thing where I just chillax and just talk over text, right? I think a lot of people find the comfortability within that, for fucking sure, right? But I would love to see, like, certain people who go and, like, yeah, let's just do this all over voice. And, you know, yeah, it gets away from the whole, like, oh, this is what my voice sounds like. It's like, oh, I'm speaking as an old man. You know, I have a really deep voice or whatever. And, like, it's hard for regular people to, you know, do that kind of inflection on their voice to where they can make it sound like I'm an old man, you know? But even with that, I can ignore that just to where it's like, it's a little bit easier to, like, have a conversation, right? Because having a text conversation, there's two types of typers, right? So you can say, like, you can just keep typing. If I move over this way, you can just keep typing and typing and typing and typing to where you're, like, typing a fucking paragraph, right? And going over whatever. And if you do that and you're just sitting there like this, like, because, you know, I haven't said anything, right? And everybody's just kind of waiting, like, that gets a little into, you know, it's like, oh, it's a little strange that we're all just sitting here looking at you. Kind of changes the flow a little bit, because if someone's not a fast typer or, you know, not as adept with a keyboard, it could be a little weird. But if they're talking, you know, you can always respond. That's why, as a solution, not including going voice only, but as a solution, you just type in sentences, right? So people can respond. And, like, maybe you'll put ellipsis on it to where you'll have the triple dot at the end of your sentence to where it's like, oh, I have more to say, but I'm just saying this now so you can interrupt me if, you know, this is like a true conversation, right? And I gotta remember that this cap's at 75. Yeah, let me get 60 and I'll go back to Stormwind. But yeah, like, World of Warcraft Roleplay is really cool, and I like it just the way it is. It's just, for me, because I'm a little bit different, I would love to see, you know, groups of people who's like, oh yeah, guys, we only do voice, you know, even, I'd love to see even special voice servers, which are also known as private servers. Blizzard doesn't like anybody talking about it because they're against their TOS. But I'd even love to see special voice servers use, like, Toka VoIP or something to be ingrained within Warcraft, to where you have some kind of voice over IP where it's like, you know, if I'm at this tree and you're at the Stormwind Keep, if you're yelling, maybe I could hear you, like, a little bit, but I can't really. But if you're right next to me, obviously I can hear you, right? Because then you could make that work, right? And that would be really cool. And I do know that Blizzard has, like, voice stuff like that, but, like, everyone uses Discord, right? But, like, that could be something really cool. And I'd love to see, like, people experiment with that, because it could be very unique. It could be a different, like, change of that. Now, something I want to bring up, and let me see if I can find this. I made a short a while ago. Like, a while ago, when I was leveling my mage, when the thing came out, about World of Warcraft Roleplay. Okay, and I want to watch that short with you, and just kind of show you what my old opinion was on it. So let me just go ahead and pull them up. It's really funny that the Stormwind music starts playing the second I get into Stormwind. I'm playing all this on Spotify. Great coffee. Okay. Let me just type in roleplay and hopefully it'll come up. There we go. So I have two shorts here. Oh, yeah. Alright. Let me pull this one up. That's fine. You can see who I'm sub to. And then we'll pull this up. So, yeah, we got okay. So this was a while ago. I look a little rough. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put this over into this, so it's a little bit easier for the watching experience, because I haven't learned at that time how to make good shorts. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Alright. And this is, I can understand WoW roleplay. This was after my first experience with roleplay. And then there's two conversations that happen here because I have two shorts loaded up, and we're gonna go ahead and listen to what I have to say.
Oh yeah. See, I can.
This was when 3 months ago.
No, I could get it, right? It makes sense. It's still like I much prefer, you know, the role play of like voice and stuff. I feel like if World of Warcraft had Toko voice or VoIP, like in game to where everybody was talking within their characters, I think it would be a lot cooler.
Okay,
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff, but yeah,
I'm talking a
in
bit more
different
here.
world, I feel like World of Warcraft's could have expanded beyond text roleplay. You know, I feel like what would need to happen though, like maybe there's a special voice server out there to where like it's free for all type of thing where you can kind of just PvP anybody, regardless of faction.
Oh yeah, I remember talking about this now.
And it's just like open world, open free for all. So then you can actually like get into it, kind of thing.
Hey Vaca, welcome.
Like I don't know the way they do it, but I'm pretty sure they do it with like rolling.
Thank you.
In game. Like who wins what or whatever. From like a doing this kind of thing, or you can roll like a d20 like this. So that's a d20, so that's a natural one, obviously.
Can barely see that. So, my old opinion is kind of still like my current opinion, right? Where, like, I still think that Toko VoIP or something like that could really do a number on how roleplay is happening in World of Warcraft, right? And like that would be like that's something that is like a really interesting idea. Not because I came up with it, because I don't think I'm sure that people are doing this right now, right? But I would love to see like what people can do with that, right? Like what World of Warcraft roleplay looks like if there is, communities of people who kind of roleplay how we're roleplaying on 5M with voice, right? How would that look like? Would walking up be better? I feel like everything would be very interesting. And I think it would be a shift, a paradigm shift on how roleplay is conducted within World of Warcraft, right? But yeah, I think that it's a change that is a net positive, right? Because then you just give people the option, right? It's like, hey, listen, if you're joining our guild, we just use Toko VoIP or whatever. If you don't want to use that, all right, that's fine. Maybe join another guild. Because, like, I definitely want to try that out, right? I think that would be very interesting. Now, mind you, I'm more comfortable with talking over my over voice about roleplay than a lot of other people, right? But still, like, that's really cool. And it's something I'd really like to see. And it's interesting that 3 months ago, before I really got into roleplay in, like, full shift right now, that my opinion is still the same, right? Because it is. My opinion hasn't changed since then, which is surprising for me. Because my opinion really goes through some shifts and whatever. But at least now, I guess the one thing that has changed is that, I understand roleplay more, right? But it is still, like, a part of roleplay for me in 5M was me contacting people saying, hey, I have a scene, can you get on at this time or whatever. That happens more in World of Warcraft than it does in 5M. Reason being is that even though this server is a roleplay server, not everybody here is roleplaying, right? And if you are someone who plays 5M, the best way to get an understanding of that is 80% of the player base is a grinder and 20% are role players, right? That's the idea. And yeah, but I am having a lot of fun, and I think as someone who is pretty antisocial, I do like the comfortability of talking to people over text rather than with my voice. I can understand where, like, if you were arguing my point, it's like, oh, I don't want to see Togo VoIP in this in World of Warcraft ever. I understand why you would say that because, text roleplay is very comfortable, right? There is no uncomfortability with that because you're not using your voice. You're just texting, right? So you don't need to, you know, use inflection on your voice and like try to sound deep and whatever. You can just talk, right? And whatever their reading voice is what the voice is, right? Um, and I think that is a very good safety net for people who are antisocial, right? And I think that's fine. I think that's fine. But for me, who was role playing in 5M for fucking 5 years, um, I would love to see Toko VoIP, man. Because I think it would be fun. I really do think it would be fun. So if you're wondering, by the way, just to get aside from roleplay for a second, what am I doing in game right now? Right now I'm leveling 2 gathering professions, which is usually not advised because you have to have 2 of your buffs up, and that's kind of dumb. But I have a solution, which is using my eyes to see where the things are, and, I don't want any primary professions on this character. I'm quite happy just gathering, even though it's not a druid. Druid's the best for this. Do you want to know why? Druid has an instant cast travel form, and I could instant cast travel form, which means I don't waste the 3-second mount time to get on my mount and run, and I'll be there way before someone who has a mount is there, because travel form is 40%, and it's an instant cast. But, horse is 60%, so it's like, oh my god, 60% speed. The horse is so much faster. It is, but not over short distances, because of the instant cast. Do you have any plans of trying WoW Remix Pandaria? I have thought about it, Baka. I don't know when it's coming out. And we are moving relatively soon. And I have been getting a little bit more hyped and on board for the next World of Warcraft expansion. But I'm not sure. It looks good. To put that out there, because I know a lot of people have been kind of hating on it. Those people don't know what they're talking about. I love the fact that they're doing this. Even if it's not fully Pandaria, which people have said it's not, that's still fun. Perfect way. In the EU is supposed to release the 16th, which means US would be 15th or whatever. I will probably be in full moving swing at that point. Because we move, like, 20th onwards is kind of like where we're kind of moving. So that's like really soon. It's 15 days, dude. Until we're like ready to be getting going. Mind you, I can still play it, but if you're wondering why I haven't been streaming, that's why. Because, like, we are doing a lot here. Even though I'm not doing, like, the most amount, and, like, I'm kind of just gaming passively, and I'm having time to game, streaming is, like, a little bit more of a commitment. Let me go ahead and change that bag space real quick. The map's bigger so I can see these easier, by the way. It's kind of Giga Brain, if I'm honest. But yeah, like, I think WoW Remix is a great idea. Like, I'm really glad that they're opening up to experimentation, right? Like, I played Plunderstorm. Plunderstorm was great. I actually really enjoyed Plunderstorm. Very happy that they went and, tried it out. And I'm hoping that they bring it back, right? As, like, its own thing. Because Plunderstorm was really fun. While doing a BR, fucking great. They did a great job. And now WoW Remix, I think, right now, man, we have looked at the sub numbers, right? But right now, WoW is in a wonderfully powerful position. Cause, you know, if you've seen the leaked sub numbers being oh nice, I just unlocked that. Being coming from Bellier Gaming, where they said that their estimate for the WoW sub numbers right now, and this was backed by a lot of facts, 7.25 million subs is where WoW is reportedly back. And we just got 3 million new subs from China as well, because they just re-announced that China is getting their WoW access back. That means we're around 10 to 11 million subs, which I should note is the most that World of Warcraft has ever had, and it's more than Lich King. That's a big fucking deal, dude. That's a huge, massive fucking deal. The fact that WoW is even close to that sub number now makes me so fucking happy, and I don't even know why. But it feels like a return to glory for me, right? Because, like, we came back to World of Warcraft. We're back, right? And now we have really, really smart, intelligent people who actually care about the fucking video game. Chris Metzen, Holly Longdale, John Haidt. Like, these people who are at the heads of, you know, Chris Metzen is story lead, of course. And then we got Holly Longdale, who's in charge of all of Warcraft, who worked previously on EverQuest and and is a like a fucking powerful person within the industry, and has really brought World of Warcraft back to head, right? I'm just really happy, right? Fucking Bobby Kotick's out. They're under Microsoft now. Like, I just feel like this is where Blizzard should be, right? Even though I cannot make a connection with retail, and I can't, right? And I really hope they do something about that. But even though they don't have that for me, Season Discovery's for me, right? Basic, simple, understandable, easy, right? But still requires a time commitment, which is where the challenge is, right? That's where I really like. That's what I really like. So yeah, really happy where World of Warcraft is right now. Really happy. They've done a fucking amazing job. And even when they don't do an amazing job, guess what? Role players are always having fun, baby. Role players make their own fun. They just decide, it's like, hey, listen, we're going to do our own thing. There is tin in there, but I'm not going to go get it. Unless there's more than one. No, there's just one. But yeah, I kind of wanted to have a stream today, because I haven't been streaming very much. And I haven't been uploading very much. I've been just busy. But I wanted to have a stream today to kind of just have a short stream and just talk about World of Warcraft Roleplay. And, you know, really just show my appreciation for it, because it's really great. Truly. Truly is great. I'm very happy, in general, where World of Warcraft is going. I'm really happy where Season of Discovery has went. I know that some people in the Season Discovery community have said that they're not happy with where Season Discovery went, and like Phase 2 was a drag and whatever. But I personally, as someone who has played World of Warcraft for years and years and years, have very much enjoyed World of Warcraft. And Season Discovery has been the cleanest breath of fresh air that World of Warcraft has ever released. Since fucking Legion. I mean that, since Legion. So, you know, I've been having a lot of fun. Been having a lot of fun. Obviously, this character's level 50, by the way. If we look at our playtime, we're at 4 days, 15 hours to get level 50. And we've only been level 50 for 5 hours. Which is, you know, is a thing. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, man. It's really been a fucking treat. It really has. And I think we're in good hands, right? Because one person I didn't mention was Agrand, right? He's the head of the Classic team, Classic Season Discovery. I think he's also the head of Classic in general. They've been doing a great job. Like, they've been doing great. Like, I understand that some people aren't happy of all the things they're doing with, like, nerfs and PvP changes and stuff like that, but I feel like they are truly the heart and soul of the community, right? Say if you, I'm wrong, if you will, but I really believe that. Because for me, like, even though I didn't like certain changes, like, you know, them nerfing mages to the ground and not being able to solo everything, and, you know, also removing being able to slow mobs in Zul'Farrak, I believe the graveyard mobs. I understand why they did it. I understand the thought, which was, hey, we don't want, you know, these mages to make 10,000 gold in 3 days and whatever. And, you know, there's been bumps in the road, which is, I made 30 gold for from the Highlands incursion, just from a whole quest turn-in, which was really funny. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but hey. Either way, I've been having a great time. I've been having a great time. And for someone who, you know, I'd imagine I'm considered a classic Andy, right? You know, I'm really happy where retail's heading, right? Like, even though it's not for me, I'm really happy they're doing the 3 expansion focus. Where they're like, hey guys, let's focus on the story here. We're gonna have a 3 expansion arc, and I'm really happy that Metzen is back at head, right? Now, just some of the things that I don't like about retail is the fact that it's way too fucking confusing needlessly. And that's something I'd really like to see changed. Because, you know, my small classic brain can barely understand retail at all. It's just so confusing. I'm pretty sure I'm out of Peace Bloom territory, right? No, I can still get it. Alright, let's go grab it. You talked a bit about how you couldn't connect with retail WoW. Have you seen the video My Retail WoW Experience? The one by 9 Day? I have seen that. I've watched 2 people react to it, and dude's right. The dude's right. It is incredibly confusing to new players, and I know this because when I played WoW to, like, invest some of the assets I had, you know, invested in Legion back into the economy to where I can get some money back, I didn't understand the game at all. And I played the game for fucking 12 years, guys. 50, like, I played the game for a long time. So, if I cannot, me, who've played the game 10,000 hours plus, since 2008, however many years ago that was, if I can't, how the fuck is a new player supposed to be? Right? I was in Dragonflight, like, looking around, it's like, where the fuck is the portal room? And I had to get a mage to portal me. I had to get a fucking mage to support me in retail. Imagine. Because the portals weren't open for me. So yeah, I did watch that video. And I'll tell you one thing. As someone who didn't know who 9 Day was beforehand, that dude is fucking entertaining. Holy shit. I am literally waiting on his next word, which doesn't happen to me. Right? Like, I watch a lot of YouTubers. That dude is a fucking great streamer. And to my understanding, that he was the first. To my understanding. And fuck, man, it shows. And I think it helps that he was a StarCraft caster as well, right? But yeah, I did watch that video, and it was really funny because, you know, it's a little bit of perspective shift. It's like, all right, how are we onboarding new players here, guys? How are we doing that? Because I don't know if this is the best way. Like, I don't. All right. let's switch to thing, because I'm pretty sure I can get training for smelting now. One of the reasons why I stopped playing retail, yeah. And the thing is, it's like I'm no longer upset at World of Warcraft because retail isn't for me, because I have Classic, right? I have Classic World of Warcraft. I have Season Discovery. We had Season of Mastery at one point. And just the thing is, it's like retail isn't made for me anymore. But the thing is like I'm not 30. So if I'm not 30, I'm in my 20s, right? I think I'm 25 or 26. Who is it made for, right? Because it's not made for me. It's not made for younger folk. Is it just made for people who are hardcore? Right? Silverleaf, Peace Bloom. I can still get Peace Bloom. Nice. Like, that's where my, like a little bit of upsetty spaghetti comes in. Is like, because it's not made for me, and I'm the age group that they probably should be targeting, but are not their primary audience, because 30-year-olds are. 30-year-old plus, of course. Coffee is doing nothing for my throat. I can already feel that my throat is getting very hoarse, because I haven't talked this much in a long time. Because I haven't been role-playing over voice, right? But yeah, that would be the question. It's like, who is it for, guys? Right? Because one of WoW's biggest problems, we can fix that. Hey Jodine, hope you're doing well. I hope the server's doing well as well. I haven't tried it out, but I hope the server is doing okay, at least. At bare minimum. But, I haven't, like, one of the gripes that I have with World of Warcraft is I'd love to see them try to get new players in by dumbing down the game. I'd love to see that. Because that is what I want. I want to see the game dumbed down so I can be playing Season Discovery and Retail, dude. I'd love to do that. But how you doing, Nick? How's it going, man? How's the server? How's Jay doing? Did you get anybody in? Like, how's it going? I just had a huge conversation about World of Warcraft roleplay. You know, I had I had some people approach me about becoming a cop in New Day, which was really funny. Not people who are like New Day staff or whatever, but like, you know, I had a person come in and say, it's like, hey, you should become a cop, and we're opening soon, which was really funny. But I don't think I'm going to be playing 5M roleplay anymore, if I'm being honest. Oh, that's why that's invisible. Weird. I've been good. Server's going good. We have 50 plus. 50 people from the old server. Nice. What's your server cap? Is it 64? I am curious of what like they're gonna do with EGO as well, but unfortunately, and I don't mean to be negative, right? Because I love all the people from, EGO. Like, I don't know if that server's ever gonna be able to take off again. Because like, you know, like if it just kind of feels really down in the ditches right now. 32 is a good place to keep it, if I'm honest, starting. I wouldn't raise that too fast. Because that's what we did, and by we I mean EGO, and it didn't work out. It kind of backfired, because then, you know, the whole, oh, half the server's empty, but that half is like, oh, we got 48 people in the server, our cap is 94. I don't want to join that server because it's half empty, right? But if you see a full server of 32, then it's like more close-knit and whatever. You want people queuing, in my opinion. I think 32 is a good spot. At least for a little bit. Like, maybe for a few months. Jesus. Damn, it's flying, though. That's exactly what we're going for, yeah. that was the advice I gave the leadership team of EGO. They listened for a bit, but inevitably they swapped it, and I don't think that was a positive change, unfortunately. But that being said, you know, there 5M is a dying game, I think. I think it is on the way out, which is such a terrible thing to say for something I played for so fucking long, dude. Like, I played 5M longer than anybody else I know other than Austin, right? Who didn't, like, I didn't max out the hours. Like, I played that game for 5K, which is nutter butters. But, you know, I feel like it's also not a net negative either, because we had the positive experience with, like, socialization with talking to other people and all that, but also, you know, being able to improv a little bit more, which is a good trait to have. I just want to see if I can loot Bruce now. But yeah, I'm happy to hear that Jay is back working on server development though. Because after what was it? When he had to wipe the server twice for some reason, due to some issue, and then he like quit after that. After that, I didn't know if he was ever going to come back to 5N. And I'm glad that, you know, that didn't stop him forever. Is Jay the primary owner of that server, or is it like kind of like co-owned or whatever? Like, what's the deal behind the scenes? He's the owner. Good. Good. I think Jay has definitely proved that he can run a server, as he was the community manager of EGO for a while, right? Maybe one day I'll come and check it out if it's still around in a bit. But we'll see. We all know that GTA is coming. GTA 6. I'm just hoping not to pay up the ass for it. But yeah, like, we had a huge conversation here, Jody, and what you missed was talking about the differences between World of Warcraft roleplay and 5M roleplay, and also kind of like my enjoyment in World of Warcraft roleplay, which I wasn't expecting. Because, you know, even though I roleplayed for 5,000 hours in 5M, I didn't think that applied to every type of roleplay. I think it does. Text roleplay, weird? Is weird. But I like it. Very fucking approachable. Very approachable. And I am very pleased. Let's get 90 herb and get the... Well, maybe we should get 100, I'd say. 100 herbalism. And yeah, 5M ownership is definitely a grind. Playing a 5M server is grindy. Like, there's just a lot to it. As someone who's never owned it, at least I think I have a basic understanding of, one, how it's run, and two, how it's a fucking stressful endeavor. Role players are like a fucking... They're a bunch of crazy people. And I'm saying that about myself, too. They're all crazy. And the thing is like, I think playing World of Warcraft gives me a unique perspective. Because let me show you something that World of Warcraft roleplay that does really, really well. And if I click on my portrait, you can see over there, if I just mouse over it again, you can see like just a brief summary and stuff. And I can put an IC thing there. But the thing I wanted to highlight, that's something I'd love to see attempted to be done in 5M, is the at a glance thing. So if you look at someone, like, you can see some of the backstory that they have put in. So like, my character has like a faint glow in his eyes, so I illustrated that. Like, tattered nobleman, so he looks like a little jagged on the edges and whatever. Showing like what kind of rings he's wearing and stuff like that. Showing like there's a family crest on him and that his rank and whatever. I think these are really cool things that I'd love to see put in to 5M. To what end, I don't know. But another thing that does, which would be really weird to 5M role players because everybody's backstory is hidden, but World of Warcraft players, their backstory isn't hidden. This is my entire backstory, right? And it's just open. You can click on anybody. For an example, if I go to directory, if I just click on Kyron here, and I click on her backstory, you can see that this is her backstory, right? And that, while, I understand this could be super easily metagamed and whatever, it would also be very easy to tell when someone's doing it. It's like, hey, you shouldn't know that I killed this person. Fucking hammered. Ban hammered. See you later. Like, that was one of the things that came up. But little things like that. One of the things I'd love to see in World of Warcraft is like a use of Toka VoIP or something. We talked about that earlier. Where I'd love to see the use of having some kind of voice within World of Warcraft, because I think that'd be super fucking dope. I would. Even though most people are probably not open to that. But yeah, there's like small little things that you wouldn't expect, right? Like having your whole backstory on show and whatever, like that's very interesting. Something else that's really cool, just use TeamSpeak. You could, but you wouldn't be able to use distance and stuff. Something else that's really cool though. This. I could write notes on other players, and it's all invisible to them, but not invisible to me, right? They're like private notes. And that is something that's really, really cool. It's really, really cool, because imagine, for example, it's like, imagine you were talking to Austin Clarkson, right? And you had this situation where like, oh, Austin Clarkson hates me now because I stubbed his toe, right? You could write that down and then not have to remember it. It's like, oh yeah, why am I mad at this guy again? Let me just check my private notes. Oh, he stubbed my toe. That's why. And you could always recall to it, right? That's like one of the things I'd love to see within 5M is like, specialized, specific notes for specific characters. How you would implement that? No fucking idea. Not a clue. Not a clue. No fucking idea. Would anybody use it? No idea. Not a clue. Let's get naughty at least. Come on now. Because there's going to be Peace Bloom in Alakmo Dam when I go over there. But yeah, it's just small things like that, dude. It's like it's really bizarre because it's like a whole different role-playing avenue. And as 5M role players, like, all that shit's different. Bro, I don't get a skill up? Come on. Alright, let's go back to Stormwind. We'll run because fuck it. Profile, default. Nice. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, while I would like to stream longer, I'm cooking barbecue in a bit, and by in a bit, I mean like right fucking now. So, I only wanted the stream to be an hour. I wanted it to be kind of approachable to watch, and I want to kind of make this into a video because I think it's something that the channel could want to watch. But yeah, I do appreciate everyone coming in here and chilling for a bit. I apologize I haven't been streaming very much. That's not really going to change due to the fact that I'm in the middle of a move. But once we get set up where we're going, once we get our internet, once we get, a little bit of, like, maybe a green screen and a little bit of audio treatment, we're going to be right back to the schedule. And I want to get back onto a specific time schedule, kind of like a TV show. But until next time, guys. See ya! I'm like 20 days out, Journey. Oh, and I crossed the country. Cross the country. We're going from one side to the other.